week for junior college football in the state of Mississippi. ICC is no exception. They will head to Jones on Thursday night, September 1st. We are broadcasting live from the Davis Event Center on the campus of ICC, and happy to be joined by Sean Cannon, who is starting his 9th season as head coach of the ICC Indians. Coach, great to see you.
Appreciate it, guys. Enjoy. Thanks for having us here.
Game week.
It's finally here. I just told the kids after practice, I said June 28th seems like 9 months ago when we reported for summer school, and I always told them, I said, time is our enemy. You know, you look up, and I said, it's going to be 20 days, then 10. Now we're 3 days away. So it's finally getting here. Is
there a level of excitement, though, once you get to game week and you're like, okay, we've done all we can do from a preparation standpoint, we hope, and now it's time to go to work?
Well, you know, I think the kids are tired of seeing each other for the most part, and we're looking forward to at least going against somebody else besides ourselves, you know. And that's the hardest part about junior college, because these kids have never been used to having this long of a preseason. Usually they've got that week 0 game, that 2-quarter scrimmage they play, and then, you know, and here it's such a long preseason to finally get to game week. But then, you know, you look up and 9 weeks fly by just like that, you know. So it's a different transition for them.
You know, since you're new to this whole junior college football thing in the state of Mississippi, I just wanted to let you know that most of the junior college teams in the state are pretty good. Pretty much.
So
good luck with that
this
year.
That was always been what I've always known here. You know, in 13 years of coaching here, as an
if I could offer any other advice, by the way.
You know, we used to say that all the time. Like, anybody can beat anybody on any given night, good, bad, or ugly, because we've seen it all happen. You know, 0-10 teams beat a 10-0 team. You know, it's the teams that get ready to play, and you know, and it happens all the time.
So it is fascinating to me, but because you've been in this long enough, you have had the opportunity, one, to see those upsets that you're talking about, right, where a team rises up, but also see some programs who you look at them and it looks like they're left for dead, who have kind of made a transition and have committed and have become better, more competitive programs on a year-in, year-out basis.
That's one thing that you can have a consistent winning program, or you can be in the gutter, and next year you hit on the right kids and the mixture hits and you stay away from injuries. You can turn your season around really, really fast, you know, and that's a good thing about, you know, where we are, you know. Now, what's the drawback? We don't get our kids very long, you know. Yeah. You kind of get them where you want them to get them, and then they're gone in a year and a half, you know. And so that's the hardest part is just the transition of keeping kids, and, you know, and then having to move them on and get another set of kids and having to build that bond with them in a really, really short period of time.
I feel like coaches in your position, and you correct me if I'm wrong here, are in a unique spot, because your job is to win where you are, and you've got a job that you're trying to develop and help young men take whatever the next step is for them, whether it's a 2-year degree or working toward a 4-year degree or trying to get to the Division I level or whatever the next step of football is. So how do you kind of balance all of those things, and what is the priority list?
Well, you know, it's hard because whenever the dead period opens back up for live recruiting, I remember usually on a Monday, I think we had 19 schools in here in one day, and we're just, hey, who you need to see? Let's hold this guy. Well, he's meeting with this guy, and grab him and grab, you know, and then we're trying to go out and recruit kids for our own team. You know, we're trying to get the kids that we got now you know, move on to the next level and try to get kids in here. So we're like burning on both ends, you know, all the time. And so you got to have a pretty good balance of getting out on Friday nights and watching kids play live, and then being able to field calls from coaches. Call, hey, I need your prospect list. Hey, coach, we're looking for this player, that player. And then you're trying to send transcripts here, and, you know, these kids going to visit, you know, on weekends, because the good thing is we play on Thursdays, so our kids are able to go to, you know, to Ole Miss State, wherever they're going to go visit and watch them play. And so that kind of helps them in that regard. But it is tough. You know, we play on Thursday, recruit on Friday, work on Saturday, and they're back here Sunday for practice, you know. So it's just it's a never-ending deal all the time.
No days off. I asked Glenn Davis when we were at Colin on Friday about, you know, there's been so much talk about the transfer portal and the effect that it has at the Division I level on high school recruiting and the way teams are building their rosters. Have you seen a trickle-down effect to your level and the way recruiting is happening because of the way teams are using the transfer portal at the Division I level?
I think so, you know, and I'm glad we don't have it in junior college. I put it that way. I think it's but
2 years is short enough.
Yes,
right?
That's right. But you do see that, you know, used to be where spring practice, tons of coaches come through wanting to watch your kids live, this and that. Didn't see a lot of that in the last couple of years, but I fielded more calls post-spring than I did pre-spring. Like, hey, Coach, maybe I didn't hit on this kid that they thought they were going to get. Now we're looking for this player. You got anybody left over? Where most of the kids in our level are graduating at Christmas and trying to get there for wherever they're going for their spring practices and things like that. And so I kind of told the kids, hey, maybe your best bet to get that offer you're looking for is to be here in the spring, because that's when, like I said, most of them that are looking for kids, either post-spring that get in the portal and now they're looking to replace that guy, or this and that. So it's a different deal. It sure has changed.
Visiting with Sean Cannon. He's starting his 9th season as the head football coach at ICC. 13th overall with the program. Game 1 coming up on Thursday night. They're at number 12 Jones. First home game following Thursday night with Gulf Coast making the trip north. That's a long trip for those boys.
They got to go Northwest Thursday, so they're going to come up here.
Yeah,
come
2 weeks in a row.
2 weeks in a row. So maybe there'll be a little bus lag. Who knows?
Yeah. I'm thinking about the different types of players within your program.
Yep.
Because you got a bunch of guys that when they play their last high school football game, football is done forever. And then there's some that have the opportunity to go to Division I level, and even fewer that end up playing in the NFL. And then there's the in-between. And you got some guys that are good enough to play junior college football, but this is going to be the end for them. And then some that come the junior college route, and they're going to take that next step afterward. Is there as much – I don't even know if I'm asking this the right – do you enjoy as much seeing the development for the guys who are going to give you everything they've got for the 2 years that they're here, knowing that this is the end of the road, as much as a Joe Horn who comes through here and ends up having the NFL career that he has?
Look, I played in this league.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. I played in this league back in the 90s, and I was one of those guys, that – I was fortunate to play 2 years of football, and I had to go walk on when I got done in junior college because I wasn't very good, but I love the game of football, and to be at this level, you got to really love the game, and I think about a kid we had here, Keymon Hall, from my hometown, from Calhoun City, who played Bassfield in the state championship game, and we didn't take him out. We didn't recruit him. I'm like, and then so we ended up getting him this second year here. And I tell the story to the kids all the time, and he was about to graduate at Christmas, dropped out of Comp 2. And I'm like, Keymon, he's about to sign a scholarship. What? Well, Coach, I wasn't going to make a good grade in it. So we sit around here to about middle of March, and we scrounged him up a scholarship to Northwestern State. And he's like, Coach, and so he's about to sign it. Had a coach from North Texas call me. And he said, Coach, we're out of – he said, we just lost a couple of DBs. We're looking – you got anybody left over? And I said, well, I got a kid's about to sign. Whoa, don't tell him don't sign right now. Said, can you send me his transcript and his film? So I did all that. Well, a couple of days later, he called. He said, Coach, we got 5 DBs we're looking at, and he's the only one close to making it graduate. And I said, well, he's going to graduate. I said, he just had that one class he dropped because he wasn't going to make a good grade in it, whatever. Get him there 2 years later. Now he's going into year 2 in the NFL. Like a kid that made the most of his opportunity, and when the opportunity came, he jumped on it, and that's the thing I always tell our kids. Your opportunity here can come early, in the middle, or late, but you better be ready to jump on it when it comes this way. And so you got a lot of great success stories. Terry Williams, who is a 2-time All-American, playing the Canadian League now, that was a walk-on receiver, 5'7", 150, that was a red shirt in 16 and then come out of nowhere for the last 2 years. And he was a kid nobody wanted. He came to our tryout in February and said, hey, let's let this kid walk on, and here he is playing Canadian football. And so you see those stories that are just like, man, be like this kid, and so you do see great stories, and you see sometimes too that it is the end of the road for some of these kids, but it doesn't have to be. I tell them, I say, there's always somewhere for you to play. Now, I know they have goals of Alabama and LSU and Auburn, but sometimes you can't get to that level. But being able to continue your career and say you're a college football player, nobody can ever take that away from you, and so I'm kind of living proof of that right there. That's what I kind of tell them. Hey, look what JUCO did for me. 1 minute left with Sean Cannon. Tell me, give me a name that we need to know, that we need to be watching for, that we're going to hear throughout the course of the fall, and just kind of a high-level thought about your team. 40 freshmen. We had a lot of COVID kids that stayed for their third year, so we're really young at some spots. Zay Davis, his brother played for us here at Ole Miss now, and he's been a guy that's been really, really impressive. Now he might go out there and not do anything, but just watching him, the way he works in practice and, those type things. And we've got some really good returning guys, on the offensive line and defensive line. But it's just kids you look forward to, hey, how they going to play in a game? Who knows,
Game number 1 coming up Thursday night.